there. Welcome to the future Clint's Reptile Room. Still a number of things that are going to get changed, but this is an amazing building, and it matches the feel that we want to have with Clint's Reptile Room. We wanted to give you a quick little walkthrough and just brief introduction to what we have in mind. But check it out, isn't it beautiful? This mural is over 100 years old, and we won't be changing that at all. It's incredible. But we wanted to have a really at-home feel, like not a zoo, but the ultimate dream reptile room where you can come and you can sit on the couch and you can enjoy the animals and you can, get them out and you can touch them and you can interact with them and you can learn and ask questions. This is the place. We want to show you. Come on. Here is where the room will be. This wall's coming down. Somewhere in here you're going to see Gus and Big Daddy, all of our creatures in incredible enclosures that are going to help a lot of people maybe feel more comfortable with the reptile hobby and realize it's not an out there strange thing. These animals are amazing. How could you not want them in your home? We're also going to run out of here our outreach program, Clint's Reptiles Outreach, which we've actually been doing since well before the channel started. And it's something that we're going to continue to do, continue to grow. We're going to be able to train more presenters so that we can bring the information that we share with schools and families and groups all over the place. And so we are so excited, and this wouldn't be possible without your support. So thank you so much for being there for us. We are so excited about the future of this space, Clint's Reptile Room. Welcome back. You might have noticed that footage was filmed in 2019. December of 2019 to be exact. That was the dream. A beautiful dream that almost didn't come true. Because Clint's Reptile Room was supposed to be a place for large groups of people to get together to learn about and enjoy in-person interactions with numerous reptiles and other cool creatures. We were going to increase our outreach to schools and libraries. And just as we were beginning to build this dream, before it could ever open, the world shut down. The cost of building supplies shot through the roof, enclosures became almost impossible to acquire, and all of the things that Clint's Reptile Room was supposed to do became impossible or downright illegal.
It's true.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it like that.
It was a good dream at the worst possible time. And I can remember sitting on the couches of the never opened reptile room, looking out through the stained glass windows, wondering if we should shut it down now or wait until we ran totally out of money and then shut it down. But there seemed to be no path forward. We weren't allowed to open the room, and if we ignored the law and did it anyway, no one would come. It was over. But thanks to some ingenuity from Jason and virtual visits from many of you, we were able to survive, just barely, these difficult early days. We were able to open for 1 month in all of 2020, October, and then from February until the end of the year in 2021, we had to close again at the beginning of 2022, but we were open from February of 2022 until October of 2023 when we closed down because we wanted to. Because all of our money was consumed in just trying to stay alive, we never got to create the Clint's Reptile Room that we'd envisioned. And despite having a series of soft openings and closings, we never got to have a real grand opening. So almost 4 years since we first moved in, we finally had the means to finish what we'd started and have a true grand opening. Gives me chills.
Me too. I was like, my heart just went pitter patter.
Oh, we spent about a month and a half building like crazy. I'm so thankful to Toad Ranch, Tarantula Cribs, Cork Fanatics, and many incredible volunteers and employees here at Clint's Reptile Room that helped us with all of these amazing enclosures and furnishings. A lot of what we built was totally custom, like this bookcase bank of enclosures or this major renovation of Gus's enclosure to make a space for Leonard, the water monitor sent to us by Nerd. It was honestly so exhausting that when our guests arrived for the grand opening, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to make it through the festivities. But I'm so thankful that I did, because despite being literally on the edge of total physical collapse, thanks to Alicia's incredibly hard work, we put together an event that was so much fun with some of the most amazing people that you will ever meet. These amazing people included Steve and Nancy from Paleoanalysis,
Mariah from Reptiles,
Annalise from All Canadian Reptile Girl,
Russ from Aquarimax Pets,
Dave from Dave Kaufman's Reptile Adventures, like 25 other YouTube channels.
It's true. Garrett from Reach Out Reptiles,
Brian from Brian Cusco and Triple B TV,
Dan the Turtle Man,
Catalia,
Bill from Chameleon Academy,
Tyler Ruggie,
Maddie from Celestial Exotics,
and Bob from Green Room Pythons. And as they arrived, we had waiting for them a breakfast munch and mingle here at Clint's Reptile Room.
not only a breakfast, but a clean and finished reptile room that we had finished just hours before.
Minutes. More like minutes.
We were sweeping up all the nails. Garrett Hartle was like, I found a few screws on the floor. You probably don't want these here.
Get to work, Garrett. And once they had all arrived, it was time for the Reptile Rampage to begin. Round 1 was sponsored by GameFace, and there was something you might have noticed. We had some really incredible people here. And, you know, a lot of people might ask, well, how did you get them to come from all over the country, even outside of the country, for, you know, just for your little old reptile room opening? Well, it was because we bribed them. We promised them that they would have the opportunity to shoot Dave Kaufman in the face. And thanks to GameFace, we were able to make that a reality, because round 1 of the competition was the marksmanship competition. These GameFace blasters, the GameFace Tryon, are not little kids blasters. These are high power competition level blasters that may come in a little bit later in the competition. But today, they're going to be using them to shoot our friend Dave Kaufman in the face as many times as possible from as great a range as possible.
And if you happen to be very good at shooting Dave Kaufman in the face, then you get a, what would you call it, an advantage?
An advantage.
For the next round of the Reptile Rampage.
And I will tell you, nobody is better at shooting Dave Kaufman in the face than Dave Kaufman.
That's true.
Fortunately, we had some tarantula cribs boxes laying around, and so we were able to make this really fun target. And I think they had a great time. We also got to learn some of the ways that our contestants might misuse a GameFace blaster, which came in very, very valuable later on in the competition. But our winners had a couple of big advantages. First, they got to pick their teammates for the next round, round 2, which was an amazing race. If they were the best at shooting long distance, they got to begin the amazing race a little bit before everyone else.
It was an amazing race, and I think part of what made it so amazing is that Will helped us write those clues. They were fun and funny and creative. I think everyone had a blast.
Will has done this professionally in the past with a business he created entirely to make scavenger hunts for people. And so we knew who we needed for a truly killer scavenger hunt. But I think it was even more fun than we imagined.
Oh, it was amazing. And I thought of like, where do I want to send the contestants? Where do I want to send all these YouTubers? Clint's Reptile Room is nestled right in the heart of downtown Springville, and Springville is such a charming little town. I grew up here. I love it. It's been my home forever. And I really wanted to showcase and show off how amazing Springville is. We're surrounded by gorgeous mountains. There's beautiful hiking. We're an hour south of Park City, 2.5 hours outside of Moab, and there's just glorious things to see and do. So all of the clues were showcasing the amazing parts of Springville.
Though I gotta say, if you come to visit Clint's Reptile Room, probably try not to look around too much, because so many of the people that came to visit fell absolutely in love with this part of Utah.
Yep.
Some of them have talked about trying to move here. It's an amazing place to be, and it was really fun to showcase that.
Yeah. So one of the clues was up Hobble Creek Canyon, which is a canyon just like 10 minutes east of here. It's a beautiful little canyon. And one of the clues that Will had written had like random stuff about things that you would definitely need to Google. Do you remember? It was like Edgar Allan Poe's birthday or something like that. It was random. And none of the YouTubers had service of the canyon.
Yes.
So they're like, why is this clue here? We didn't do it on purpose like that, but they all thought we did. They all thought we were trying to sabotage. And I know that Maddie called her mom and was like, Mom,
Yes.
I need help now. And that's all her mom got.
Yeah.
So her mom was like, are you okay? What's going on? They were all trying to, because they could call. So they're all calling people like, will you Google this for me? Because if they won the amazing race, they got an advantage for the next round of the Reptile Rampage.
And spoiler alert, Dave Kaufman is great at shooting Dave Kaufman in the face, but he is not good at solving riddles.
I think it was Dan the Turtle Man's fault. One of the questions was, how many kids do Clint's parents have?
Oh.
And Dan the Turtle Man said 0. Because Clint's an only child, so he was thinking siblings, not kids. And that the clues gave you coordinates, and you had to plug in the coordinates into maps to find where the next clue was. And because one number was off.
I'm a
it was
person,
off.
Dan.
What did you finish doing outside just now?
Amazing Grace, a scavenger hunt of which I threw severely. We were in first, so far in first, we were winning so much that I decided to throw off one of the numbers and take us to the wrong location.
If you combined Trivial Pursuit with going to the gym, you would have what we just did.
I like it. I like it. Did anything trip you up on the way?
Yeah, we did. The GPS coordinates took us to a couple of slightly misleading locations. At one point, my team had to literally ford a river to get to the spot.
I just finished losing an amazing race
Oh no, why'd you lose?
because we made a very fatal mistake of saying that Clint's parents had 0 children in our coordinates, which we obviously know is not true, but it was just a slightly obvious binary mistake, 1, 0.
So the reason I lost is because I elected to have Dan the Turtle Man be on my team, and he had to take like 12 bathroom breaks. The guy's a fountain. Seriously. Around every corner, he was like, "Can you pull over to that gas station? I need to go to the bathroom."
So that was quite the adventure.
It was fun, but it was a little stressful, but it was still fun.
I just came back from a scavenger hunt all over Springville, Utah, wherein my team won. I'm not bragging, but we won. So,
What do you
Not
think
bragging.
was the key element that made you win?
the key element, probably my friend Amy that I brought. She did some key things that helped us to win because she's from Utah, and that helped.
We were driving around Springville, Utah, like
I think
it
I
was
hit
Mario
60
Kart.
I think I hit 60 or 70 miles an hour.
How was the scavenger hunt that you just went on?
Oh my gosh. Crazy. I think we started and we went to the wrong place first and we were behind and then all of a sudden started picking up speed and then ended up winning. So it's pretty good.
It was crazy because it was all GPS coordinate based. My team, none of us have, I know what GPS coordinates are, but I don't have any apps for that or anything. So we're kind of close driving through town going, wait, what? That was them back there. There was one time we all bailed out in traffic. We did have to cross a stream because our GPS put us on the opposite side of a stream. So we got shoes wet. Yeah, that was a little crazy. And then even the coordinates for the shop showed up 4 blocks that way. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. I think it's going to be the shop. So we sent half the team back so that we could, place higher in case we were right. But they're like, no, it has to be everyone. So, of course, me and Richard Bilbo are running 3 blocks. Oh, man, when I have events at my place, it's everybody come, sit down, have a drink, pass a snake around, have a good time. Not so at Clint's Reptile Room.
Can you give us an example of one of the obscure clues?
Yeah, one of them was how many people were persuaded in Clint's dissertation by phylogenetics about the evidence for evolution based on phylogenetics or something like that.
That sounds pretty thick.
And we had to actually download his dissertation to find it.
It was a lot of fun. It was very chaotic and stressful, but it was fun.
There was lots of running. It was very stressful. We couldn't get reception at one point and we needed it. But yeah, up in the mountains. But it was so much fun and we all made it back safely. So that's good.
Winning the Amazing Race gave our contestants an advantage in the next competition, which is, one that favors some of their greatest skills as content creators.
Creating content.
But before we moved on to round 3, we had a little lunch here at Clint's Reptile Room, and then we began the video competition. Their advantage from the previous round was they had first choice of all of the animals in the room to represent as the best pet reptile at Clint's Reptile Room. They had to create a 61 second or less video on their platform of choice about why that animal is the best pet reptile at Clint's Reptile Room. And then it was up to you to vote for which one you thought made the most compelling case.
And that was so fun. We wanted all of your votes in before Saturday at noon because that's when the big... Are we saying what it is yet?
No.
The big secret event happened.
After all of their videos were up and the voting had begun, we were off to one of our favorite restaurants, a wonderful Peruvian restaurant here just next door in Provo, Utah, called Se Llama Peru. And we had a really lovely, lovely dinner.
That was something that was important to me, I think. I think to both of us while we were planning is we wanted to make sure the meals were amazing. Because a lot of why people want to come and do things like this is because they want to make friends. They want to network. They want to feel like they're actually a part of the community. And I think that was something that we really worked hard at building, is that community. And the meals, they were a huge part of that.
I can't believe how close we all were by the end of all of this.
I know, they were leaving and I was literally almost in tears. Like, you're my friends. Why are you leaving me?
Yes.
Don't you live here now?
It was, that community aspect was so important. And Leisha played such a huge role in putting all these meals together and all these events. And, one thing that I know about creating the Reptile Room or this event or anything is I'll do it okay. But by the time Leisha gets done putting her special touch on it, it will be incredible. And it was really so special.
Thanks. I like being partners with you.
It is my favorite thing to do. After dinner, we returned here to Clint's Reptile Room for a very exciting event, which was the VIP meet and greet. It was the first chance to come see the completed Clint's Reptile Room and the first opportunity to come and meet all the incredible YouTubers that were here. And it was such a fun event.
It was amazing. That was maybe one of my all-time favorites. I came in late. I was bringing in refreshments for all the guests and all the YouTubers. And I was just getting to know you and getting to know where you came from and how you got introduced into reptiles. And it was incredible. Every time, every person I was meeting, I would ask, where are you from? And it was California, Florida, Pittsburgh, Texas. I was shocked, blown away, and so incredibly grateful to meet you and just feel your support and love in this dream and what we're doing. It was so humbling and so amazing to experience that.
It was awesome. It was so awesome. And if you're bummed that you missed that, you are going to want to stay tuned until the end of this video. Just saying. Well, that was the end of day 1. Day 2.
Pretty exhausting and amazing day.
Oh my gosh. I was exhausted so much before the start of the day, but I was having so much fun, I almost didn't recognize how exhausted I was. Day 2 started off in a little more laid back of a fashion. We wanted to preserve some time for these YouTubers to film a video while they were here, if they wanted to. And so we set aside about 2.5 hours. I was at their disposal, though my voice was shot. Yeah. Fortunately, Brian Kusko wanted me to sing a song.
That's true. I forgot about that. You had no voice, and he's like, come over here, Clint. And you did
voice.
Great.
I did my best.
Great. It was a Johnny Cash song, so your raspiness just really fit.
It fit all right, but it was a heck of a time to sing a song. But we had so much fun filming with the various creators. Yeah. But then, well, it got real. Because the results were in from the voting. And it was time for the creators to get their bonuses or learn to live without them. The bonuses were 2 things. One of them were darts. Darts for high-powered competition-grade dart blasters. Interesting that you'd need those. And second was the opportunity to pick your team. The top finishers not only won the most darts, but they also got to be the captains of the team. And being a captain involves two things that are important. One of them is that we told them that they were going to need both marksmanship and great reptile knowledge, and probably some darts. And so when you pick somebody, you're picking somebody who A, might be good in a battle, B, has some darts, and C, knows some stuff about reptiles. All of these things factor in very heavily to this most crucial of all decisions.
You might be annoyed that we're keeping you in the dark with what this huge event is, but we have to because all of our contestants and now friends were kept in the dark and they had no idea what was ahead of them.
Having selected teams, we issued special edition shirts made possible by Ship Your Reptiles, the sponsor of the final event, the Reptile Rampage. But before the battle could begin, they had one more opportunity to get some darts before, well, the chaos began. For this Reptile Rampage is not just a battle of brawn, but a battle of wits.
Clint and I sat down and wrote some really hard-hitting, tricky trivia questions for this Jeopardy-style trivia game. Now, the points were the most important. They had to score as many points as possible to survive.
Because it would be entirely possible to enter the Reptile Rampage without a dart to your name. This entire event was live streamed out to our patrons on Patreon, but if you weren't a patron on Patreon, there was also the opportunity to come in person because the Reptile Rampage took place in front of a huge and awesome crowd of amazing people that came from everywhere for the grand opening, and they cheered and they roared, and it was so much fun.
Yes.
Just the trivia competition was so much fun, and it was really impressive. Some of the things that they didn't know, other people did. And I should add one particularly exciting detail, because we actually needed 2 more competitors than we had
That's right.
for this
I
event.
forgot about this.
And the great news was we had a live audience there. And some of these people are people that I have interacted with for years at this point. Through the pandemic, they supported us. They came and did virtual visits.
Yeah.
They are close friends of mine.
Yeah. But both of ours, they sent gifts. They came to all the live streams. They did a ton of virtual face-to-faces with Clint because they saw the dream and they wanted to help.
And so I asked Tima and Anthony if they would join us for the Reptile Rampage. And I've got to say, they really carried their teams during the trivia portion.
They came through. There was a whole category on like Clint's Reptiles history, and they were clutch.
And pretty solid in phylogenetics.
Yeah.
They were awesome. They were awesome. And now the darts were issued, and that brings us to the ultimate battle. The crowning event of the Reptile Rampage, the war. Each team would be limited for the entire competition to the darts that they had earned to this point. Everything has been leading up to this. And I've got to say, I included a war like this as part of this competition because it's a fun hobby that I've had for years and years, going back to way before you could get anything like the Game Face Tryon.
Every single competition came down to this war. Either they had darts for their war or they didn't.
And I gotta tell you, with blasters that shoot this hard, you want to have some darts of your own. And I'm just gonna put up a montage of this battle because it was incredibly fun. And if you don't support us on Patreon, if you want to see the whole battle, you can check it out there. This battle was unbelievable. And the music.
When I was gonna say, when the music started, I was like,
and
I'm not even fighting, but my palms are getting sweaty and my heart is racing.
The crowd. This has been something I've enjoyed, for half my life, and yet I didn't even compete in this one, and it was the most fun foam flinging event I have ever been to by miles. Everybody had such a blast.
Pun intended.
Yeah, apparently. We saw some incredible moves. Dave Kaufman went on one of the craziest rampages I've ever seen.
Mariah Healy had that sneak around attack and came from above and won it for her team.
Yes, indeed. And in the end, only one team remained. And they were, or so they thought, our champions.
We had an official ceremony for them. They got their medals. The crowd was going wild. It was this super intense competition for 2 days that all led up to this. And we found our winners.
And now it was over. Or so they thought.
It was at this point in our 2-day competition that alliances started to crumble because there could only be one champion.
Let the battle begin. In the end, only one remained. We had our champion.
Brian. You're supposed to join in. Brian, join in.
Brian Kuska. And so the reptile rampage had come to an end, but the real festivities were only about to begin. Both the Reptile Rampage event and the grand opening were sponsored so generously by Ship Your Reptiles. If you're unfamiliar with Ship Your Reptiles and you ever need to ship a reptile, they're incredible. They'll provide you with everything that you need. I've used them before. I shipped out of Tinley with Ship Your Reptiles. I got to meet Chad Brown, the owner there, who's someone that I've followed for years since he owned a place down in Denver called Pro Exotics, which was one of the most amazing stores I ever went to. They were all wonderful to work with and really helped make this event so much more than it would have been without them. So thank you, Ship Your Reptiles.
Thank you so much. Establishing Clint's Reptile Room in the heart of downtown Springville had to have been the best choice that we made, not only because Springville is so charming, but they've been amazing to work with. They sent a team of people down to help us cut the ribbon to officially open Clint's Reptile Room.
I couldn't believe the crowd of people around the block ready to be the first visitors after the opening, the official grand opening of Clint's Reptile Room.
It was so, we were recording and I said, everyone say Clint's Reptile Room. And it was just this horde of people who all saw the vision and the dream and were there to support us. I got so teary. I felt so humbled. I felt incredibly grateful. We had our team of interns behind us, helping us cut this ribbon, and it was seriously one of the most amazing experiences of my life, feeling totally lifted up by all of you.
Miracles upon miracles.
Yeah.
And after that, the doors were open. People were able to come and see the vision as we always wanted it.
Yeah.
And that had somehow, through so many miracles, come to fruition. At this point, we went and we grabbed one last wonderful dinner together with all of our friends. And the reality is, when that was over, nobody was ready to be done.
It's true.
And so...
And I thought for sure, as like, you've all been traveling, you've been competing for 2 days. So I asked them, I said, we kind of have a plan for an after party, but if you all just want to go and sleep so that you can make your flights tomorrow, do that. And they were all, there's no way. We all want to stay together and hang out.
Absolutely. And so we went up into the mountains. We had a wonderful fire. We sang songs. We hung out. It was all of the YouTubers, but also all of the truly incredible people that built Clint's Reptile Room. And one of the things that I so enjoyed was that feeling of community and camaraderie. You know, looking out, you couldn't tell the difference between the people who work at Clint's Reptile Room and the YouTubers. They're all just like the coolest, most charismatic, wonderful people who are all joined together by a love of this incredible hobby. And you guys brought us all together. You guys made this possible. You guys got us through the impossible times. And we are just so thankful. And thank you for joining us here today. And now we have one very special announcement. Some of you may be sad that you missed out on this event. And it was incredible, and you really missed out. But this year, which is funny to say because last year we had our grand opening, and this year we will be celebrating 5 years at Clint's Reptile Room. And we're going to have another Reptile Rampage to celebrate it. It might not be exactly like last year's. There will be a different cast of people here, perhaps. I can already tell you that there are some people planning to attend who you will be very excited to meet that couldn't make it last year. And if you're a content creator about reptiles or other animals or really anything in biology or zoology or anything adjacent to the things we do here on Clint's Reptiles, and you'd like to be a part of this event this September 27th and 28th in Springville, Utah, there will be a form in the description of this video. Fill it out. So we hope to see you here.
September 27th and 28th.
At Clint's Reptile Room in Springville, Utah.
I wanted to give a special thanks to Coloring Bliss, Rocking Monkey Stickers, and especially Megan Abrams from Riverside Creations, who made this Clint's Reptile Room sign that now hangs prominently at Clint's Reptile Room.
It's so wonderful, and she had to ship it twice from Canada. She jumped through all sorts of hoops for us and made us something truly beautiful that adds so much to the room. And I want to thank those of you that supported our GoFundMe 5 years ago. Because, well, it's because of you that this dream ever came true.
As always, like and subscribe, and we hope to see you real soon. Do you want your arm around me?
Huh? Do you not want my arm
No,
around you?
is it weird?
Only for the people who don't know who you are. Fortunately.
Can I just pause right there?
Well, yes.
Well, speaking of guests arriving, we were still finishing Bubba Chunk's enclosure. Kevin was out there with a tile saw, like, in the middle of the sidewalk, putting on tiles, and the YouTubers start coming in, and it's a mess, and they're walking around like...
And we're like, come back later!
Please don't come now! We still have 16 hours till you're supposed to be here.
Yep.
Springville... Wait.
Springville Reptile Room is nestled right in the heart of Clint. Keep going with this same level of intensity.
I don't know how to do that
Oh, you
level
do.
of intensity.
You gotta put your hand like this. There you go.
The Clinty style trivia game.
There you go.
Next.
It's not just a battle of brawn, but a battle of wits.
I give up.
The team war. The war.
Yes. That was good. That was good.